All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our special session this morning on our series of conversation with an alum. This morning, we have one of our alumnus in the house, in the person of Dr. Amina Sambo Magaji, our director at Window on America Jos, Katrina Cobb, will be reading up our bio. Let's put our hands together as we welcome Katrina to take the bio.
Good morning. Thank you very much. Greetings from Jos. Dr. Amina Sambo Magaji, PhD, is a seasoned technocrat, artificial intelligence AI expert, and technology policy developer with over 21 years of impactful experience in Nigeria's technology, startup, and innovation ecosystem. She has consistently championed the adoption of emerging technologies to address socioeconomic challenges, particularly in the areas of youth and women empowerment through her nonprofit, She and Tech Empowerment Hub. A trailblazer in the digital innovation space, Dr. Sambo Magaji has designed and led high-impact programs benefiting thousands of startup founders and business owners across Nigeria. She serves as a startup mentor with the Founders Institute and VC for Africa, and is a board member of both the Data Scientist Network, DSN, and Startup Kano Innovation Empowerment Hub. Dr. Sambo Magaji is a 2020 U.S. Distinguished Humphrey Leadership Fellow. She holds a Tafa Balewa University, a master's with distinction in information engineering, and a PhD in artificial intelligence from Robert Gordon University, Scotland. She currently serves as Deputy Director of the E-Government and Digital Economy Department at the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, having recently completed a sabbatical at the Africa Center of Excellence on Technology Enhanced Learning, ACETEL, National Open University of Nigeria. Her academic contributions include extensive publications with recent research focusing on the role of AI in teaching, learning, and research. She is also an active member of the Nigerian Computer Society, NCS. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Katrina. So we move on to Amina. Amina, you have the floor. You can also share your slides. You're a co-host.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Kindly give me a few. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Kindly give me a few moments. Let me swatch my slide.
Okay.
Okay. Can I confirm if you can see my slides now?
Yes, we can. We can.
Okay. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Josephine, for the fantastic introduction. Again, I remain Amina Sambo Magaji. And today I have the privilege of speaking to you about how you can leverage the exchange experience for your career advancement. Of course, the main reason why I'm doing this is to also give you insights into what I did, how I did it, so that you would be able to utilize the experience as well. Because the experience is mainly about turning global exposure into your professional advantage as one of the many things you can do with it. Okay. So this is my profile. It has been very, very well read. The one I would like to emphasize specifically is the Distinguished Humphrey Leadership Fellowship for 2022. As most of you know, the Distinguished Humphrey Fellowship, it's about the Humphrey Fellowship. It's an engagement with the university for a period of about 12 months. You would go into a university and do a minimum of, I think, 3 months, where you would go in and do a research. You would always have an affiliation with that university. You would have a research to do or some certain work and things like that. But what we had that time, just before COVID, was a distinguished. Hello? Is someone trying to say
Well, with
something?
you.
Okay. So the one we had that time was a distinguished one, and we had 2 weeks, about 2 weeks. Yeah, about 2 weeks. So about 2 weeks, and the idea of the 2 weeks was similar to that of the usual Humphrey Leadership Fellowship, but we didn't have the university affiliation. What we had was an executive education course from Harvard. It was my first time to go to Harvard, not my first time in Boston, but it was my first time to go to Harvard and to meet other emerging leaders, right? So this one was done for people who were already at the very, very close to the top of their career, not just mid-level, above mid-level. And they just need that consolidation and exposure to be able to take their work to the next level. So firstly, that recognition, by the United States, for you to be part of this was a very good boost and a confidence booster for me. And it was the same thing that I heard from a lot of the other beneficiaries. So it also gave us an opportunity to meet people from different parts of the world, so which I would speak to and then show you what it meant to us. The Harvard training was something that was really nice. It was on leadership for the 21st century. It was, it's not in my slide, so that's why I thought to speak about it here. So it's about leadership. It's about leadership in the 21st century. So looking at, how we can address what we call challenges in our current leadership, using human interaction, our mindsets, our mindset and practical tips. So it was really something really, really different. It takes you from a level where you think you're stuck to a level where you think, oh, you have the power to make those changes and change how you look, how you and your team look at the problem and find practical ways to solving it. So for me, it was one of the main takeouts of my Humphrey Fellowship. So the content of my topic today would be, speaking through why exchange experiences matter and some of the skills you would gain through your exchange program, and how you can align those skills to your career goals, and how you can use it to showcase who you are, and also how you network and leverage your alumni platforms. Then you can use proactive. For me, it really made me more proactive in terms of my career. And then I'll speak about some of the things that I have done in between that, and how the exchange shaped, how I was thinking. So I started She and Tech, and then I'll also speak about, I'll give you some tips to end it with. So I received an email to be nominated as a Distinguished Humphrey Fellow in 2022. It wasn't an application that I completed. It wasn't something that I knew someone that, did that, nominated me. So somebody just nominated me based on the work that I was doing. And what was the work I was doing? At that time, I was leading innovation and the startup ecosystem in a national role in the country. So that was I did that between 2016 to 2022. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, yeah, to 2020, 2021, 2022. So basically what I was doing is to serve as a government facilitator to ensure that Nigerians, especially the youth, start to think about how they can leverage technology and their skills to build enterprises, right? Innovative enterprises that can solve our local challenges as well as create jobs. So we know we have the challenge of employment because of our large number, but we don't have limitations in terms of people going to school. We know Nigerians love to go to school. We have lots of people with degrees, masters, and PhDs. But the challenge was in having jobs. So my role at that time was because I'm a technologist, and the position that I had was implementing tech policies. So I was given the mandate to ensure that we facilitate, through enabling environment, that young people are able, or Nigerians are able to leverage on technology. So we went around the country to create awareness. We had initiatives that came up with policies, through very close engagement to get to speak to people, to give them initiatives and incentives to get them into becoming entrepreneurs, to make it easy for them to thrive, and a lot of those. So as a result of that, this is why I was picked, and I went in for technology. You would go with a theme when you're going for the fellowship. I went in for technology, startup, and I think innovation. That was the theme of what I went for. So understanding the value of this international national exchange program. So that's why I'm speaking about it. I did my first degree here in Nigeria. I did my master's and my PhD in the UK. I had an opportunity to work a little bit with the university during my PhD as a lab assistant and things like that. The exchange program gave me something different. It gave me access to people doing very close related things to what I was doing. It helped in confirming, what we were doing, if what we're doing was right, and giving us opportunities to learn from, global practices, to see how things work, to meet other people, have other ideas, and so many other things. So learn strategies for converting exchange experience. So there were a lot of things that we were able to pick up. So at that time, sometimes while you're in it, right, you're trying to walk past through the 2 weeks or whatever time you're given. But when you come back and you reflect, that's when you really come to see the value that you have been able to build. And that's why I'm trying to, that's what I'm trying to do today, to make sure that I share some of these experiences so that you make the best use of them if either you've been there or you're looking to be there. And this is not just for the Humphrey Fellowship. This is for any of because I've spoken to so many people, because during that time we had dinner at the end of it. We went to Harvard our own set went to Harvard, and then we had engagements in about 3 different states around the US. I went to Fort Lauderdale. I went to Fort Lauderdale. I went to New York, and then I went to 3 cities as well, specifically chosen based on what I was doing, so that I would meet people doing what I was doing. At Fort Lauderdale, I even went for a conference. There was a startup conference that happened there with people showcasing their activities, and it really had an influence in how I came back and I was doing our own conference here. We have something called Digital Nigeria. So that experience really changed how we did Digital Nigeria, because we now incorporated an app where people could register. It used to be registration on the website, but because before I even went there, I was sent an app, I installed an app, and I was creating all my meetings and schedules. So we incorporated that in Digital Nigeria. We also incorporated online booths. We used to showcase our startups in physical booths where we'd give them space and partition it, and then they would come and speak to their products. But with the experience, we now did hybrid. So we had someone online, some of the startups online for people that are engaging online, so that they would speak to them they would constantly be speaking to them and engaging. So the exchange really matters because it gives you exposure to new culture and ideas. Once you see how other people are doing things and how other things work, your mind starts to, relate it to what you do. And automatically, we're really what we learn. Yes, we're what we eat in that aspect, but we're also really what we learn, what we're exposed to, what we listen to all the time, whether it's on the internet, movies, we read, and all that, or the people we associate with. So once you're able to pick these ideas, you find out they become your motivation for innovation. Personal growth as well. It kind of helps you build confidence, because I remember one of the ladies that I met was from Netherlands, yes. That lady was just like a mirror of myself, right? And she felt the same way too. So our thought processes were so different people. When you see us, you would see that there's nothing nothing common from the face value. I was a Black Nigerian lady with my hijab Muslim, and she's a Netherlands lady and things like that. So, but when we sat down and we were discussing our, even personal and corporate challenges, they were like 90-something% similar. We could relate, we were always together. She was like the friend that I never had. So it gives you that confidence that you're not alone and what you're doing is right. And, it gives you more adaptability, and it also shows you that you can't do a lot of the things that you set your mind to. She wanted to become a politician. She wanted to lead something in politics, and we're still in touch thanks to things like LinkedIn and all that. So personal skills, yes, you start to build better communication skills. You start to think about collaboration. You start to think about innovation, which can never be overemphasized. I remember a couple of times we've come together. In fact, before we left, a couple of the ladies came together. Someone from Pakistan, Uganda, myself, and that we came together and we were like, okay, all of us are doing things around youth, a little bit about innovation, entrepreneurship. None of them was a technology person. I was a technology person. And they were like, since we have things like Zoom and all that, how can we work together to continue what we're doing? We had like many sessions thinking about, how we could do things. And we've even applied for the grants, the exchange grants, to see how we could work together. We've not been awarded any yet, but we'll still keep at it. And just to show you that we have come to become like an ecosystem. Of course, and that's where building global networks means. So in my own foundation now, where I'm supporting young people, I invite these people to come and speak. They are mentors in my group. So you can just imagine, they have been mentors for my innovators, for career development, and so many other things. They bring like flavor into the programs. My programs are now not just international. The things that I do, they're like global. They're international. They have an international affiliation. So just to recap, about the skills you would gain. Apart from soft skills, you would also have hard skills. I've mentioned adaptability. I've mentioned adaptability wherever you are, you're able to adapt, and whatever situation you find yourself, you would try to find practical ways of moving forward. Cultural intelligence, communication, and problem solving. And I remember going to the US. Like I mentioned, it wasn't my first time. I go there for trainings, 1-2 weeks trainings, where they're already there's a scope of what I'm going to learn, right? I'll be in a room with a certain number of people, and then when I'm done, I'm doing a certification or boot camp or things like that. But this was entirely different because there wasn't any structure. Like I was creating the pace of what was happening. I defined what I wanted right from the beginning. What were the things, who were the people I wanted to meet. I had the open book to even go and research, and find people that I felt I should meet. And they would reach out to them and ask if they were available for them to meet me. So it would season your communication. It will season how you approach things, problem solving, your critical thinking, so many of those things, because it gives you that avenue where you would have to even think about, practically and critically think about your situation without being too subjective and bringing emotions into it, because you're now looking at it from I want to solve it kind of thing. Of course, you learn more about global trends, especially for me going to the conference. It was a conference like any conference you would imagine. We had people from the military doing innovation. We had people doing things in fashion, in education, different sectors. It was a huge, massive, well-attended conference where we had, innovators showcasing their programs, people coming from all over the world speaking on panel sessions. You get to hear about global trends, even in your field and other fields, what other people were doing. It gives you more research and project skills. And then because the process of being there helps you to think, and you've left all your responsibilities and you're there for a specific thing, it helps to build your research skills, your project skills, and your, of course, field specific expertise, because you're meeting people who are either at your level or way beyond your level that you could learn from. Yeah. So how would you align these exchange outcomes to your career goals, right? So for me, I found these things very important, and that's why I want to discuss it with you. For example, you have to identify the transferable skills. For me, I picked some of the skills that I found. I came back, like I mentioned to you, and I tried to, because by nature I'm like a teacher. I'm a teacher. I think I would just say I'm a teacher because I love to share knowledge. I love to discuss things, and I love to coach. So even the team that I work with, I take a coaching approach in what I do. So you pick at transferable skills, right? So some of those ones I mentioned to you. There was something very fantastic that I also witnessed. I remember there was a local government that I went to. It was a city. It was not Philadelphia, but it was very close to Philadelphia. City very close to Philadelphia. I can't really remember the name. Close to that. And what they were doing on digital literacy. So they wanted the citizens to have the basic skills so that they can leverage on the digital economy benefits. And it was led by a single person with a secretary. And he would speak to everybody, all the representatives, all the organizations, where in our own country, if we have a mandate like that, we would want to create an office and have, admin, have a full-fledged office with a building and this and that. It's like a new, it will be a new setup, but I found it very interesting that it was just one man and his secretary, an admin executive assistant, that were doing that job. And it was fantastic, right? Because it was clear that was their schedule. They could schedule meetings. They could still make a little bit of time for me. And they even showed me how they were doing it. They gave me that opportunity. So I was there witnessing one of the meetings and everything, how it was coordinated. So this was one of the things I took back to my team, to say that it's, remember, it's not only about having many people doing it. It's about you finding clarity and creating a plan for yourself and then executing it. It's not about the number of people. It's about the quality you put into it. So map skills to desired job roles, reflect on personal development milestones, and then update your personal development plan. For me, one of the things that I did even before I left was that I've always known that, yes, my role would have impact because I'm creating enabling policies that would support innovation and entrepreneurship so that, like I mentioned to you, there will be jobs, people would be solving problems, yes, but I'm coming from the policy angle. And there would always be challenges being in the government, if you want to see a certain level of whatever, because there are different stakeholders and everybody had a role. And there are many things that I felt should be done. And because of some of the restrictions in government, you were not able to do that. But something that I found very useful during my exchange was I also met a UN foundation. I met a lady and her team that were doing foundation around sustainable development because I wanted to understand how that works. Because I was always speaking about impact in the beginning of my need assessment for the fellowship. So I had the opportunity to meet with them. And I knew that was something that I had to do, that I had to have my own foundation to drive the things that I believe in and to make sure that it happens. So I had an opportunity to meet with her different teams. They spoke to me about what they did. I had lunch with the lady, fantastic. And because it was designed in such a way that I'm not in a class, right? I'm just like walking and having fun. In fact, we walked from the office to the restaurant, we're laughing. She was like a friend, it was a very mutual, it was a very relaxed environment. You could speak without feeling tense. So I took a lot from that. And I knew that time after speaking with her, even before I left back to Nigeria, I wrote it that I'm definitely going to start my own foundation to look at, the things that I have, the ideas that I have that cannot go through government. So it also gave me, that approach, this particular approach of understanding that I need to, what it did to me is it changed my mind to say, you can't keep saying, just because you're in a role doesn't define who you are. You can be so many things, but you just need to do it in a way that it's right. And in a way that they all don't counteract with each other, but then give you your desired results. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but as I speak later, I'm sure it would make more clarity. So showcase your exchange online. Last year, I took a year off from work, and I decided to update my profile and rebrand myself for who I am and who I want to be. Okay, so having your Humphrey as up there, speaking about it, mentioning it, reflecting on my experiences. I didn't do it at the time of my exchange. I didn't do it at the time of my exchange because at that time I was not really on social media, and I felt I was restricted because I was a government person. I shouldn't speak about other things. I should speak about just those roles aligned to my office, which is not like that. Nobody really stopped me. It was me limiting myself. So I now put in all the things, that I was doing. I spoke about my reflection. If you check my LinkedIn especially, you would see a lot of my reflections, and it has brought me a lot of followers. It has brought me a lot of opportunities to speak. It has given me, speaking about myself, my research, the things that I believe in, my perspective as an expert in AI, innovation, entrepreneurship, oh wow, it has really boosted who I am. I've received invitation to speak at UN panels in Nigeria, outside Nigeria. I went to Morocco end of last year for a month, to do things around women supporting, women supporting youth. So many opportunities comes with that. So you shouldn't forget to showcase that. So I would say also don't forget to network and leverage your platforms. Stay active in your alumni networks. We have a number of social media platforms. We have WhatsApp groups. We have emails that we have, email groups. So make sure you attend reunions. I received invitations from the US Embassy when there's a gathering, maybe for the Independence Day, or when, for example, the new ambassador came. These are very key places where you should be, right? Mentorship forums, and you should leverage your connections for if you are looking for internships for other people, job tips, and also referrals. So there are many things that you can do with those. Proactive career planning. So for me, this is what it has really done for me. It has given me that wake-up call to say, you have to be proactive about who you are and what your career is for you. And yes, it's okay to keep changing who you are. You don't need to be stuck in one role. So set post-exchange career goals, which is what I did. I did it, but trying to achieve it really came in the past 2 years. Identify industry trends that match your strength. Just because you're a particular profile doesn't mean with your experiences, and with things that you come to find you enjoy, doesn't mean you can't change those. And then get certifications, get the skills, based on the insights you have found, based on what makes you happy, to make sure that you're not just saying, oh, I want to be a data analyst now, or I want to be a data scientist, and I don't have any skills around that. I still have just maybe research skills. So you need to be able to create your PDP, your plan, how you want to move around achieving that. So one of my greatest accomplishments from the Humphrey Fellowship is She and Tech Empowerment Hub. I started it 2 years ago, and it came up from deep inside me, knowing that many people reach out to me and look up to me as a role model, and asking me to coach them, mentor them, and things like that. And I realized one person would not be able to do it. I cannot even mentor 50 people, not to talk about us that has Nigeria that has a very large population. And it's not just Nigeria, it's almost everywhere I go. Sometimes airports, when I speak about what I do, who I am, or I go to the panels, people just give me their cards. Oh, my daughter is doing this, my son is, I have this, because there are not a lot of women doing this across the world. So I decided to start She and Tech Foundation to create a platform, right, where platform for mentorship, for building digital skills, and for creating collaborations. So it's specifically designed to support personal and professional growth. We offer a lot of resources, and we help individuals to excel in their careers and education and entrepreneurship. We have a very active social media platform. We have over 300 people within our community. Most of them are volunteers, young people in the university, outside the university. We create opportunities for them. We build connections, whether it's a digital skill you have, you're still in the university looking for money. We clean up those skills and then give you access to people you can work with remotely. We have people making money as much as 250,000 a month using remote work, to people coming together to create businesses, entrepreneurship, to a lot of them also being mentors in their own spaces. So it's one of the things that I'm really, really proud of. And we've also have, I remember I mentioned all those mentors, all those people that I've met, networks that I have met, people from all over the world. They bring in flavor. So they also mentor. We used to do mentorship on a random basis, but we are now structuring it. We had our first cohort this year. It's called Mentor Match. The feedback was really good. We had a partnership with Google's initiative called Ariwa Ladies in Tech, where we were building digital, where Data Science Nigeria was building the technical skills, while we were building the mentorship for them to understand how they can take those skills either to entrepreneurship or to workforce they want. So it's been really good, and we look to see how we can make more sustainable, make it more sustainable through getting funding and partnership. So if anyone here is interested in joining us, go to our website, I'll show it later, www.sheandtech.com, and be part of us. It is also in my effort to be active in planning my career. Last year I took a year off, which is something that is hardly done within the public service everywhere, and especially in Nigeria. I took a year off, realizing that I finished my PhD in artificial intelligence in 2020. We're in 2025, right? 2015. That's like 9 years ago. Okay. 2015, that's like almost 10 years ago because it's in August. I finished it then, and not a lot of people even knew a lot about AI then, right? And I felt the best fit for me when I came back was to go to the innovation office, because some of the startups that we mentored and we supported were AI startups, and we're building skills around there too. I realized there was a need to upgrade, because 9 years is not a joke. So that's why I left the job. And then for 12 months, I went into the Open University and got a partnership with Salford University. And I was doing research on leveraging AI for teaching, learning, and research. We've been able to have 6 publications out of that. I've been invited to Indaba as a mentor. I have had over 20 speaking slots and engagements, a number of accolades in terms of awards and things like that. But it was really important. The mindset of I need to actively keep growing, I need to actively keep engaging is what gave me that courage to be able to take a year off and say, okay, no, I need to just go and make that change. So I would like to end, like I mentioned, with some exchange tips. Please keep a reflective journal during your exchange program. Take a lot of contacts, right? Collect, pick business cards. For me, business cards don't work. So there and then I pick phone numbers, I pick emails, and then I save you on my phone contact. I have a problem with going back to using contact. So use whatever you have. If you have the digital contacts, keep giving people your own contact and then collecting theirs. Create the communication as soon as possible. Practice articulating your experience in 30 seconds. Because I have worked with startups, I know what pitching does to you as a person. Pitching either for a minute, for 30 seconds, for 60 seconds, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever time you are given. Why I said 60 seconds is to give you that restriction. How are you going to be able to think about, what you've experienced? If just being able to articulate it would help your mind start to understand, all the key pointers and things that you should be focusing on and thinking about, even beyond the experience. And then, of course, stay connected to your host community as much as possible. So for me, the impact recap is it encouraged me to be more proactive in my planning. It gave me an opportunity to build a competitive profile. So I knew that, saying that I have been to the UK to study, I have been to the US to meet, to build to meet the workforce, to have an experience where, I understand how the industry, the system works. Is very powerful. So it helps you to build a competitive profile. It helps you to translate your personal growth into professional readiness. Networking opportunities can never be emphasized. Never take it for granted. I remember I went to Dubai, and one of the people I met through the exchange, I go to Dubai a lot. Started with, let's have coffee. Anytime I'm around, I would have coffee. But as at now, I even go to the person's house. We're like family friends. Yes, we have already become like friends. I know all have his family. He knows mine. We found so many things in common. Apparently, the person was actually in Nigeria at some point in time in their very early life. So when they met me, they felt like I was the link to, their time in Nigeria and things like that. So you never can imagine what can happen, with such exposure. Yep, so that's me, that's my experience. So if you want to continue communicating with me or what I do, my handle on social media is Dr. Sambo Magaji or Dr. Amina Sambo Magaji, one of the two. Like I mentioned, She and Tech is at www.sheandtech.com. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So feel free to engage with us as you wish. If you have any questions, yes, I'm here. Thank you so much.
A round of applause for Amina for that great session. For those of us asking for the slide, Amina, do we have your permission to share on American Spaces Network?
Yes, absolutely. Yes, please,
Okay.
absolutely. Go ahead.
All
It's
right.
my pleasure.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So for those of us in the spaces, you will get it through the directors. I'll be sharing right after the program on our platform. So watch out for it there. You can get it through the spaces. So if you have question for Amina, please can you raise your virtual hand? You can also type on the chat box for her to answer your questions. You can raise your virtual hand if you have a question for her.
And I believe you can also type it if you want, if you're shy. But don't be shy. This is your opportunity to start speaking, communicating,
Yeah.
right? If you don't take yourself out there, you would never get the best. And it's okay to make mistakes. Nobody got it. Nobody was born with this. I was actually nervous even to come to you about this because who are you going to? What question will they ask? What I say, would it be beneficial? But it didn't stop me from coming here to speak to you. So please, let's engage. If the questions are too difficult, I'll pass them down to Josephine.
So please stop sharing your slide so we can we can get to see the hands. Thank you. So I have a hand raised in Lekki. Lekki, please unmute and ask your question.
All right. Good morning, ma.
Morning.
Thank you so much, Dr. Amina Sambo. Your session was so inspiring. My question is, I'm also someone that is passionate about digital literacy. And it's one of the things I've done in the past, trying to bring together schools and exposing them to some digital tools that can help improve their learning. But the challenge I have or I've seen in our sphere is how to constantly keep these children engaged, because these students engage or youth engaged, because what we do basically is just go here and there and just drop, expose them to these things. But I had a program recently with in my alma mater where I brought a lot of students. We brought some students together, and to my very surprise, many of them have not even touched a computer before. And I was asking myself, it's not just to tell them about these things. What can we do? What can be done to actually get them busy or engaged in these things over a period of time? So I would like to know how can we actually achieve something, not just talking, not just doing, how will I put it, not just showing them, but actually having them use this thing. And then in the period of 6 months, 1 month, 1 year, we can say, yes, this person who doesn't know about the computer, who doesn't know how to use these digital tools, can now use them, or is now in a system, or has been placed in a system, or in an environment where the person can improve and learn these things. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that question. Very apt. Are we going to take one question at a time? I think it's better, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because we have 2 more hands. So, but yes, we'll try to be quick. So very apt question you asked there. And I would speak about it in different angles. Firstly, we have government organizations that support with intervention. We have USPF, it's an organization under NCC. And then we have NITDA that provide for example, computer devices, laptops, handheld devices, through capacity building or just interventions for states or for organizations, right? So these things exist, and the internet from NCC. So these things exist, but notwithstanding, it's something that like I mentioned to you, one of the things that I learned from my exchange program is to find proactive ways to address things I see as challenges. So firstly, you spoke about having an alumni. I think you said you had an alumni discussion and things like that. So can you, based on the schools that you work with, if they don't have access to these devices, can you, as previous students or alumni of this school or this group, come together and buy, even if it's a single laptop or a single desktop for that school that you're working on, right? We shouldn't underestimate the impact that we can make by saying, we don't need to have a whole hub with 50 computers for them to be able to make a difference. So have one, or even if it's your own laptop, right? If you have the opportunity to gather these people, take your laptop, give them the opportunity to touch it and play with it. So we need to understand that we will not be able to solve the entire problem of the world, but we need to understand or put our mindset into what can we do to make a difference. For me, that, like I mentioned to you, that's why I started She and Tech. Yes, I'm with government. And yes, many people think government should be doing all these things, but it's not really sustainable. Government can create avenues to give some of these laptops and then create initiatives so that laptops will be sold at a cheaper opportunity. And then individuals should also work on supporting their community in different ways. We need to stop giving rice, chicken, and all these goods and all those things, and think about, buying laptops for schools or desktop for schools. Honestly, I, as a person now, how many laptops, I'm a computer person, how many laptops have I given out to schools? That's what you should be thinking about. So how many, you should be able to say, okay, at least from my salary, let me give back and give at least five laptops every year, or even if it's one every year. I've had 20 years of work experience, or let's say even half of that is where I can afford that. So within that, I've already given 10 different schools, and I'm monitoring some of these things. So we as individuals have to also find in our own way how we can make a difference. And when you're speaking about impact, how we measure impact is really subjective and different. So sometimes just showing up as a role model for me has made many young people that wanted to study medicine or something else go back to computing and say, wow, so this person was able to do this and that, I'm going to study that computing. So when I also finished with my first class degree in ATBU, I didn't have much hands-on skills. I didn't know how to code. I wasn't even interested in it. Like you mentioned, I was learning things on paper. It was theoretical. But when I went to the workforce, I realized that I didn't have those skills, and I knew that there was no way I can be a tailor without learning how to sew. And that's how I started my journey into doing a master's, PhD, to really have those hands-on skills to consolidate my certificate. So don't underestimate the effort, the impact you can make as an individual. Try and find organizations that support with these infrastructures and still write to them. Don't give up hope. Look for ways where you can find funding, right? As much as you're here within this within this space, this American spaces, there are lots of opportunities that would come. So leverage it positively, leverage the concept of alumni, leverage the concept of all this call for fundings, and play your own part. That's all I would say. Yes. I hope that kind of helps. And I'll also add that NIDA is championing digital literacy. NIDA is also looking for partners to help it in getting its, NIDA is the National Information Technology Development Agency, just in case you don't know. I also work there. What they do at NIDA is to find partners to help it get into its 75% digital literacy target by 2027. So if you have a platform where you have people doing things around that, if you're doing things around that, so right, and see how you can partner with that. with that platform as well.
All right. Thank you
I
very
hope-
much, Amina. I think
Thank you.
that
There are other
answers,
couple of
that
yeah.
answers this question. Calabar, please quickly just go directly to the question. No niceties. Thank you.
Good morning, Dr.
Morning.
Sango Agagi. And good morning, my fellow learning colleagues.
Your
and others
question, please. Quickly, your question.
My question is, I am a member of Yali Cross River State. And then in Yali Cross River State, we do have a program called Yali for School, where we go to secondary schools, try to impact students on leadership development and other soft skills development. And I have a mentor on my own area of studies here in the university as a student. And then I also have a mentor on the impact space. And each time my mentor, my school mentor sees my activities, my programs, where I get engaged with Yali, and he will be like, okay, Gabriel, this is good, but I feel you should focus more, this attention more on your studies and the rest. So at some point, I used to be confused at some point, because these are two people I'm very loyal to. Both the mentor I have on the impact space and the one I have as a student in school. So my question now is, at that point, the question now is, at that point, please, as a professional who has been a mentor for some years in the industry, probably over a decade, what's your advice for me, please? Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. So to quickly answer that, based on my understanding, and I hope I get it right. So life is about balance. Like I mentioned to you, you're not one person. Like I mentioned to you, I have university students that are earning money from what I'm doing. So we also have people that work that study in the UK, US, and you see them working to pay for their school fees. So nobody is saying you cannot match up more than one thing. The most important thing I would say is, are you making your grades well? Are you giving it the amount of time you need? Right? So we have a lot of time. You have a lot of time in a day. You know that. So it's either you use that time, you also wait and do a mono path kind of person and just focus on study, or you try to network, to have a social life, to do exercise, to start supporting other ventures through volunteering and other things. For me, I think it's very important. You just need to make sure that you do nothing, you give priorities, and then nothing, you don't leave anything behind, okay? And also manage your mentors well. Most of the time, mentoring is a free service. So when he says things like that, just thank him and go. And then please, maybe reduce the number of feedback you give them from the other mentor. Focus on the mentorship that you're getting from him. Let the conversation be about that. So he should only worry when you're not meeting the targets you set yourself, and not when you're not being accountable for that. So try and separate the two conversations, because that's why you have two different mentors for each of them. Thank you. I hope that helps.
Sure. So let's go to Yo. Then Benin City, please help us. We only have 3 minutes. Just go direct to the question. I mean, can we take the 3 together? So you just
yes, then I will answer. You're correct.
Okay, so Uyo,
yes, fantastic.
1 minute. Uyo, 1 minute straight.
Good morning, ma'am. One of the issues we students have in this IT stuff is like we are thrilled by every new thing. Today we are in Web3, tomorrow we are in IT, in AI, next we are in Forex trading. This man, how were you able to be consistent as the students?
He's talking
Sorry,
about
I didn't even get
that. He's talking about distractions. That how were you able to focus on your course?
Particular IT. For now, we are thrilled by every new thing. Today we are in Web3. Next day we are in Forex trading. Next day we are learning AI.
Okay, the constant change.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So thank you very much. So if you're a student, I would say finish whatever. I actually had one of my mentees last week speak on that that she started computer science and she's not enjoying it. She wants to do graphics. So if you're a student, she says she's more creative. She didn't even say she wanted craft. She just likes creativity. She doesn't know why she's even doing the computer science. She doesn't like coding and things like that. I would always advise that if you're already in school and a student and you're passing your course, please finish your course. There's nothing wrong with that. If you finish the course and during the process of the course, you find you understand what you want as an individual or where your strength is, you can always do a master's on it. You can even take certification courses on it. You can even go back and do another degree. I've seen many people do more than one undergraduate degrees. So it really depends. But even a skill at this time and day is important, is sufficient for you to move, right, to the next, to another skill set. So attending conferences, whether it's webinars or physical, following the right, what do they call them? Following the right people on social media would help to give you all the trends and information that you need to know. It's just like news, right? For me, I don't watch news for more than 10 minutes because of mental health challenge. I don't want to have, I'm a very emotional person. I just listen to the beginning and see what it is about, right? Or just look at the flashing news and then I switch it off. It's enough. So just be able to know it. You don't need to know everything. You cannot know everything. It's not possible. But make sure you make active effort in trying to have a little bit of whatever. I would say follow the right people on social media, right organizations, right individuals. I would say attend webinars and conferences, physical and virtual. I would say go to engage with your associations. We underestimate them, but they are very powerful. I remember joining Nigerian Computer Society when I came back from my PhD. And there I met the Minister of Communication that time, and he gave me a very lucrative position as a secretary of a very sensitive committee. And I learned a lot from it. And it created exposure for me in the sector. So these are things that you can do to create networks and also be among the right people speaking about the right things. But please take it easy on yourself. You don't need to know everything. And when you pick up something, put in a lot of effort in trying to understand, why don't I like it? What can I do with what I've learned already? Why do I want to move to other ones? I think that's one of the things that I learned in my exchange, because you hear people speaking about, okay, they're clear. Oh, we started this and this is what we learned from that and we had to move to this. If you're able to speak about things like that, it shows you're building clarity as you're moving on. And you wouldn't be bothered about knowing everything.
All right.
At any point in time. So I'll give the other person time.
Okay, so while we are waiting for Benin City to unmute and ask their question, there's a question from Abeokuta on the chat box. You can read that. So while Benin
Okay, thank you for your wonderful question. I'm interested in learning more about coding and digital innovation, even though my field is not relating to computer science. What advice would you give to someone that is willing to gain foundational understanding? So very similar to what I told the other person as well, right? Now you have generative AI. Go and start with that. Ask them, I want to, this same question you asked me, go and put it there. It will give you a lot of ideas beyond what I'm even going to think about now. Because when I drop this code, I would say, oh, you could have done this, could have done this as well. So there's so much you can do, so much you can get now because of AI. So get the advice around that and then see. Because the internet gives you access to so many things. Don't waste your time just looking at TikTok and videos of people that are just making it to make you laugh. Look for content that would add value to you. I think that's the fundamental thing I'll tell you here. The same way you're finding those wedding attires, funny weddings, you understand what's happening with the latest actors and actresses. If you put in the same effort, you will be able to become a professional in the digital innovation and coding field. I am telling you, you don't even need to go to a regular school because the resources are there. You just need to be able to put your mindset and put in the effort towards doing that. And of course, have mentors. She and Tech, we're very happy. We'll be opening our second cohort, call for second cohort at the end of this month. And what we do is for people that are trying to change careers or move from their careers, like I mentioned, they can join the cohort and meet mentors to guide them. Mentors and coaches will only guide you, but the hard work needs to be done by yourself. Thank
All
you.
right. So Benicity, thank you. Benicity, quickly unmute and ask. Please go straight to the question. You have half
good
a
morning.
minute.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Morning, we can hear you loud and clear.
I recently completed my program with 3MTT Data Science, and I saw from your profile that you're a data scientist too. So what advice do you give to people that are switching from engineering to data science that is just starting? Thank you.
Okay, same advice like I gave the last two people. Do you know about Data Science Nigeria? Go and join their community, because that's a community of people doing things. That's where you find professionals around that. I'm also one of the pioneer peoples that started 3MTT. So the idea of 3MTT is to help in building those skills. So the other person that was asking me how they can learn skills too. So you see, federal government gives you those opportunities. Follow those social media handles. People think government is not working. There's that is happening. So please go and find those right people, right organizations that would give you what you want. And it takes a lot of effort. It's not one day. If these ones don't work, you find other ones that would work and go to find communities. Innovation hubs, all of you. I don't know, within your spaces, you need to find ecosystems or the places where these conversations are happening. Most of the states in Nigeria has innovation hubs, either in the universities or outside. Try and be able to find those innovation hubs and the communities and join it. That's where you would learn. One person cannot teach you everything, but you need to be in a group of so many people. When we speak about mentorship, people say, this is my mentor. I have mentors. Some of my mentees are my mentors now, based on the things that I'm trying to do, because I know they have done it and I can learn from them. Honestly, I'm trying to start a startup, and I have been speaking to them and mentoring them on how to do it, but I didn't actually do it. Now that I'm trying to do it, I call them a lot. Oh, how did you address this? How did you? And they will be laughing. Mad, and we just make fun of it. What does it matter who is teaching you? The most important thing is for you to be able to forge ahead with what you desire to do. So I think for me, okay, I'll round it up when I'm rounding it up. Let's allow others to ask questions. Next.
So, I don't know how much time you have. We've run out.
I would have to go. I actually have a physical meeting at 11 o'clock. I actually have a physical meeting.
I have 3 hands up. I don't know. Okay, Benicity is out. So I don't know if we can take Enugu and Oka together. Then you just answer them in 1 minute and we round off. So Enugu, please unmute and quickly ask your question. If you are ready, if you are not, Oka.
Okay, while we're waiting for them, Manir Jega, finding funding for NGOs is really not easy. I've not been able to find funding, even within the exchange funds that I've been applying to. I've not cracked it. I even went for a training in Ghana with a couple of my team to learn how to write apply for competitive grants. So it's something that is ongoing. We've been able to receive all grants, okay, and partnerships like I mentioned with Google. But the big grants that would be able to give me the ability to do the kind of work that I want, I'm also still struggling, but I'm not stopping. I'll continue it because I know nothing good comes easy and I know we'll get it. So keep at it. Our social media platforms are clearly written by Huzaifa. Thank you so much for anybody who wants to follow us. That is, Huzaifa, please share my personal LinkedIn also. Some people are asking. Any more last question before I leave, please?
Enugu, please. Enugu, direct your question.
Oka is here.
Hold on, just hold on. Yeah. Just no greetings. Just go straight to the question. She's run out of time.
Okay, yeah. Good morning, everyone. So I heard about the parts where you were talking about the fact that we need to be the ones to provide certain things apart not waiting for government to do those stuff. So I truly appreciate everything. And I just wanted to ask one question. You talked about a particular platform where they are tech giants, or where they are looking for tech services there. You called it One Media or something. I don't know if I heard it. What was the platform?
They are looking for tech talent?
There was a platform you said that they are looking for tech enthusiasts, people that will work in it, as part of the
No,
innovations.
I'm not sure I said that, but I said She and Tech can give you access to opportunities. So you can follow us on any of our platforms, and we cannot introduce you to anyone until we're sure of what you can do and your behavior, and we can stand for you, and then we'll create those opportunities for you. So whatever skill that you have, there are always people looking for those skills, and we're trying to encourage people to use young talent, right, for them to grow than waiting for big names. So if you're looking for opportunities for yourself as a talented person, please join She and Tech community. The handles have been dropped on the social media. We're actually looking for people to support, so we're not the regular people that you would know. My social media has now been posted. Okay, can you go ahead? I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, She Enugu, She and Tech, the
She and
handles, you
Tech.
can see them on the chat box. You can pick it from there and follow them. Okay, go
Yes.
ahead. No greetings, straight to the question.
Let me see the handle.
Oka, ask your question.
Yes, ma'am. I and my colleague were setting up a social media marketing agency where we build brands, we boost brands, the audience we build brands and advertise brands to targeted audience for more visibility. So he is a UI UX designer, and I am into Google Ads and a Google Ads specialist, but I'm working on my certificate. So to build our brand, to build our agency, we lack funds. Is there any available fundraising program or grants we can apply for, or where we can pitch our idea?
So NIDA has a subsidiary called Office. I know the government part. They have an office called Office for Nigerian Digital Innovation. Is the office that I told you I headed for 5 years. And there's this, we create a platform for young people to come and showcase their ideas through like national events, and we do competitions. We also have a partnership with JICA that gives funding. So it's also, everything is about a call and then people applying to make it for it to have integrity, to make sure that people are applying for it openly. So that's why I said it's important. Do you know about it? Follow NIDA, follow the Office for Nigerian Digital Innovation. Everything is being posted there on social media because everything is online now. We take people as far as to Dubai, some African countries, Egypt. They can get $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 based on those competitions. I don't know of any funding sitting down for innovators to access, but I know there are programs and competitions where you can get money, if you attend. Even the JICA programs, they also have mentorship and things like that. So from my own side, from the government side, I would say follow those handles. And when you see them, apply for them. Don't think, this is one of those things that I will not get called. You would benefit from it. I have a lot of people that I still engage with that come back to me and say, oh, Ma, we're here, we're there, you did this for us, you were the one that helped us get to this and that. So yes, it's possible for that to happen. I hope that helps. And then, of course, if you join organizations like She and Tech, and that's why I said it's important to find those opportunities. There are many opportunities out there, but the right people are not applying. So in She and Tech, people that are doing competitions, like our global partners, some of them want to fund Nigerian startups. So we would drop it there. If you are the kind of person that is within our community and you're checking those opportunities and trying them, you would get lucky. We might not even ever know that it was from She and Tech that you got it, but you're actively working on it. So some people just take it for granted. And that's it. So can we take one more question and we round up, please?
Someone was trying to ask, I think it's, let me see, Abdurrahman Abba says, how can I join the She and Tech volunteer? I think if you follow the link, you can. Then
yes, we have seen. Correct.
Yusuf Sani said, hello, Ma. Thank you for your precious time. What are the requirements for airspace class?
I don't even understand what that means. No, I don't know what that means. Okay. I don't know what is airspace class in this conversation. Yes.
All right. So, Amina, let me thank you for your time. I know you have a very busy schedule. Thank you for facilitating this morning session. And we are very glad that you are one of our prominent alumnus. and we want to wish you well in your future endeavors. Please, can we give Amina a round of applause as we round up this morning session? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Do you have
Thank you.
the
Thank you. It's a
last word?
pleasure. I truly enjoyed the session too. Please don't forget to follow me and follow She and Tech so that you can continue to engage. You're an opportunity for me to network. So please make sure you give me that. Thank you so much, Josephine. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for joining us. I would like to announce to you our program for Monday, Employability Webinar. We have Dr. Ohiro Oni Esele, who is the founding director of Social Work Program, University of Delaware, will be facilitating this special session of employability webinar, career opportunities in social work. We'll be looking forward to having all of you as we come together to learn how to make, how to build a career in social work. The time is Monday, July 21st by 10 a.m. on this same Zoom platform in your American Spaces, wherever you are in your location. I want to also thank our directors, even for making sure that we have participants in our spaces this morning for this session. I believe we have all been impacted, and we're going to take steps on what we have heard, even from Amina this morning, to make a difference in our lives and in our communities. Thank you very much. I wish you a happy weekend. Bye, everyone.
That's